Let's take a look. 5 bold predictions for the Browns week 2 against the Jets. This is from an article you wrote for Dawg Pound Daily. We're going to do a couple of them in tandem. So Cade York stays perfect as number 5, and Jacoby Brissett finds his groove, number 4. And I think that's key. I think the Browns are going to need more than they saw with Jacoby Brissett. And I'm not in any way diminishing the final drive, but they need more efficient quarterback play if they're going to get where they want to go in these 11 games.
Yeah, I have said all along that they probably need to win 5 to 6 games while Deshaun Watson's suspended. If they get in that range, 5 and 6, 6 and 5, then they will be able to make a little bit of a run at the end. Brissett, they got it done. They got the win. These next 3 games are all winnable. The one against Pittsburgh is probably going to be a little bit tough. We saw that their defense is still playing really well. But that first game, Brissett left a lot of points on the field. He had people open. He overthrew them. Carolina is going to be a little more forgiving than some of the other teams they play, just because they weren't able to put up points in a hurry all game long. They had a good fourth quarter, but for the first 3 quarters, they were really shut down. I do think that Brissett not playing much in the preseason and Watson getting the majority of the number 1 snaps during training camp and everything played a factor in that. I think the more Brissett gets out there and gets comfortable with guys like Amari Cooper, I think the more we'll see that he gets into a groove. And I think that the Jets are a team that he can start to do that up against, that he can find, get a few of those shorter passes, hit the tight ends a little bit more, and then open the game up for him and Cooper to finally start to connect.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would expect him to play a little bit better than he did, and that to be kind of a gradual process. All right, number 3, Martin Emerson records his first pick. The rookie played pretty well. The more I see him, the more I want to see him on the field. Number 2, Nick Chubb scores twice. So last week it was Hunt. This week you say Chubb. And Myles Garrett crushes the sack record. And I got to believe Myles Garrett is just licking his chops, because you've got a couple of tackles out. You've got a quarterback that is as immobile as a quarterback gets in the NFL, and Myles Garrett's coming off a pretty impressive showing in week 1.
Yeah, and week 1 he was going up against Ikem Ekwonu, who was the 6th overall pick. Still a rookie, but he was an incredibly talented player. Now this week he's going to be lining up against George Fant, who's normally a right tackle. And on the opposite side, you got Max Mitchell, I believe was a 4th-round pick. So no matter who he goes up against, he's going to have an even better advantage than he did last week. The Jets are going to really have to try to scheme to keep him from ruining their game plan, putting some tight ends over there, keeping a back out there, and then that helps the secondary a lot. Also, Martin Emerson, like you're talking about, he's the more you see him on the field, you want to see him out there. The guy looks like a linebacker at corner. He's physical. He comes up. He makes the hits. That interception he made against Jacksonville was one of the greatest highlights of the preseason, where he just ripped the ball out of the guy's hand and ran it back for a touchdown. So, he's a lot of fun, and I think having less people out in the routes and having Myles Garrett get back there and force the ball out of Flacco's hands quicker is going to play to his strengths as well. And I think he's going to get his pick. Like I said, I think Myles Garrett is going to get the 2 sacks at least and be the all-time sack leader before the game's over.
Yeah, and the one thing about Emerson, if you're not wearing the same color helmet and jersey, he just doesn't seem to like you, which you love to see on the defensive side of the ball.